Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. Happy 2024. Hope everyone had a good New Year and a good restful week off. But maybe that's all worn off already. We're back into the thick of things here. So welcome to our next community of practice here around dual credit. And today our focus is on the healthcare pathway. And we have three higher education institutions with their high school partners who are going to share their in the chat with any questions, and you can always questions or comments, and you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask your question as well. So that's also not a problem in this medium here. So to get us started, I just wanted to cover a couple of logistical things. And you may notice, obviously, that Renee Savoy is not on this call. She couldn't join today. She obviously wishes she could be here, but she couldn't join. So that's why I'm kind of handling this call. So just in terms of the grant update, just wanted to make a few pointers for everyone. For those of you who have the dual credit expansion grant from the districts, we are receiving requests for reimbursement of funds. Fund requests are coming in. They are being approved in a timely manner. So if you haven't begun requesting reimbursement for expenses for this grant, please do so. These are time-sensitive funds and these are COVID relief funds, so they're not going to be around for forever. So please begin that process. And if some of you have any revisions in the works, please finalize those in EGMS and get those squared away, because if you don't, then you won't be able to make those fund requests. So please finalize any outstanding revisions you might have. And also, for those of you that are funded with ARPA grants, the slightly larger grants that we funded with the ARPA funds, not the ARP ESSER funds, but the ARPA funds, just remember that when you submit a funds request, we do require some basic documentation to back up that request for expenditure reimbursement, and that basic documentation typically shows up in the form of a export or something from your financial system like Munis or whatever else you might have, where it basically shows how much you're requesting for expenses, and then it shows in your fiscal printout or PDF that those amounts that you're requesting have been expended. So if you make it easier on us, it'll make it easier for us to approve those fund requests. So if you show us like these are the amounts that have been spent and we can see that in the printout, then we can authorize the reimbursement request easily. So that's basically the grant update for today. And if you have any questions, again, reach out to Renee or you can put it in the chat and we can address that. To get us started in the healthcare pathway discussion, I just wanted to do a quick poll, and hopefully this I can get this to work. So the question is, with which higher institution of higher education is your district partnering on a healthcare pathway? And you can select all that apply. And if you're not doing a healthcare pathway, then of course you don't worry about it. You can ignore this question. But if you are, we would like to know which institution you're partnering with. Excellent. Thank you so much for those of you that were able to submit your votes. I mean, you should see the results in the chat. Looks like CT State, UConn, and Southern are the entities. And I guess we read your grant applications closely because those are the three institutions we have today to share in terms of their partnerships. And so I believe Karen, Olchai, Trudy, and Chris, I've promoted you to be presenters, so you should be able to unmute yourselves. And as much as I know your partner high schools, I've promoted them as well, but if there's somebody who needs to be promoted, please let me know. But I suggest we go in this order. We could start with CT State, then go to Southern, and then Chris, you can back clean up and bring us home here. So I'd like to turn it over to Karen Heineck from CT State. So Karen, you should be able to unmute yourself and share your partnership. And I'll request if each of you could sort of keep your remarks to about 10 minutes each, so that we leave plenty of time for questions and discussion. So Karen, I'll turn it over to you. And if I need to promote anyone, please let me know.
Well, fortunately, I can promote Superintendent Smith, Melinda Smith. You are also on this call. Want to say hello? Because I think you're also a presenter. You just may need to unmute.
Yeah. Hi, Karen. Everybody.
So Superintendent Smith and I are very fortunate that we recently established a partnership where Connecticut State Community College, QV, is offering nursing aid certification classes at Turtle Lot High School. So through this innovative partnership, and we've also partnered with our industry employers in the area, Day Kimball Hospital and Magelitis for clinical sites, 14 students this past fall were able to take classes in nurses aid. They'll be able to be certified by the end of January. They've gotten clinical experience at both our nursing home in Magelitis, as well as our area hospital, Day Kimball Hospital, which has been a great experience for students hands-on. Turtle Lot also was able to furnish a room, so it is a site for offering certified nurses aid. In addition to that, we will continue this spring with a course that's called CCS 1000, which is a college and career success class, which is a required class in all of our degrees, but it will have a focus in healthcare. So again, we will actually be providing that course with our faculty member, but it will expose students to all the different healthcare options that are available at our campus. So those aspects include things like practical nursing, nursing. It also will include OTA, PTA, respiratory therapy, and rad tech, medical lab assistant, surge tech. So there's a lot of different healthcare options that students can choose from in the healthcare field that do not require a bachelor's degree, but require a 2-year degree or an industry certification. So that will be part of that Part 2 course. In addition to that, we will be bringing students back to our campus when they finish their certified nurses aid exam and pass. They'll have a graduation ceremony on our campus that we'll be working with Superintendent Smith on. Superintendent Smith, do you want to add anything?
Well, I think the networking that has happened between the Connecticut State, Day Kimball Hospital, Magelitis, and then actually the Eastern Connecticut Workforce Investment Board, who actually paid for the time for the CNA certification, all pulling together to put the program in place, has made it quite successful. The draw for the students obviously was to get into the CNA certification program, but we marketed it as a dual enrollment class for the second semester. And so they're going to get a full year experience, but not only are they going to get the dual credit, they're also coming out with the CNA certification. So we're pretty excited about that.
And we're also excited to be exposing students to the range of healthcare options that exist, because oftentimes students aren't aware what a respiratory therapist does. They're not aware as to what a rad tech does or a medical lab technician. These are all good paying jobs that they can get with a 2-year degree. And there's a huge demand for it. And the connection, I agree with Superintendent Smith, back to our regional employers is so critical, as well as with the Workforce Investment Board. happy to take questions if there's time and that's what you would like to do.
Thank you for that succinct and clear description of the program, the partnerships, including the employer and the workforce board component. I'll ask a question and others should please jump in as well. How many students approximately are going to participate in this program from Thompson in this, and is it launching, or has it already launched, or is it launching next year?
It already launched. We had 14 students, and all 14 are in good standing at the moment, so we anticipate that they'll pass the exam. Those same 14 students will also go on to take that CCS 1000 class and have an additional 3 college credits graduating, which is an equivalent first-year experience course that transfers to most other institutions.
Yeah, the profile of these students is interesting, Ajit. So you have a group of students in that class that are college bound to be a nurse, and they're very interested in the medical pathway. Then there's a good group of those students who are going to graduate. They are not going on to college. They want to get into the work field. They've been working with Day Kimball Hospital, who has explained to them that if they start at Day Kimball, there is a training funding source for them. And if students wanted to continue in the medical pathway, there's some monies there that can help pay for their tuition. So there's a group of students that are very interested in that. And then there's one student who actually wants to be a music therapist, but felt like a lot of his time would be spent working with the elderly. So he is in that program primarily to understand the medical aspect of being in a nursing home. And so it's a really eclectic group of students with different goals, but they are all so far being very successful. And I want to say the class is rigorous. And it's funny, it's also increased our absenteeism rate, because some of the students that actually signed up, we were reluctant, obviously, right, to put that financial investment behind because they were chronically absent. But some of those students are coming to class, at least when the class falls on the A day, they're in class because they don't want to miss CNA. It's had its benefits just to repair some of that chronic absenteeism, but also just their goal setting individually. It has been interesting, but I would say a good 6 of those students are going to graduate from school, go on to becoming a CNA, and then possibly exploring that tuition reimbursement that Day Kimball Hospital can offer.
Karen and Melinda, I don't know if you can see the questions in the chat. There's a couple. I can read it out as well. Is a Total Out faculty member teaching the CNA, or is it someone from Day Kimball helping with the CNA training?
Karen's muted.
It's an instructor from the college. CT State finds the instructor, and we are the ones that have that.
And for that course, is there a college credit, or there is not a college credit for that particular course?
So those courses fall under our workforce education. There's an opportunity through credit for prior learning that those courses can come in through the nursing pathway and other healthcare pathways. And then besides the CSS course, does CT State college faculty teach other classes at the high school? So not at this moment in time at Turtelot, but we have done teaching other courses at our local high schools. So for instance, at QV right now, we're teaching Spanish classes with a partnership with Killingley High School along with the CSS class. So we do sometimes teach at the high school, and sometimes students come to us and we teach. It just depends on what the need is of the district.
Yeah,
In addition,
we have a long-standing history with Connecticut State for our manufacturing pathway and some of the other pathways where we do offer dual credit, and they come from Connecticut State.
so
I
just
know that Julie and Beth, I think you had your hands raised at some point, and then I think you withdrew it. If you have a question, I can, if you raise your hand, I can definitely unmute as well. So just let me know. Okay, there we go. Go ahead, Beth. You have to unmute yourself though. Can't do it? Okay. Just give me a second.
Oh, sorry, I think I figured it out. Sorry.
There you go. Yep.
So in Manchester, we have a CNA program as well, and but it was my understanding that we could not articulate that course because it was continuing ed. That's correct, right?
That you couldn't articulate it. We offer it through Workforce Ed, so it's not an articulation agreement.
Okay.
It's, our faculty teaching the course
Okay, gotcha.
versus your faculty teaching CNA and then articulating it back to us, like
Gotcha.
through a CCP or tech prep.
But you did say that if the student were to pursue a nursing pathway, there is the possibility that that workforce course could count as a prior learning.
It depends on the particular program of study. So in higher ed, we have prescriptive classes that students have to take in order to get the degree. I think sometimes that's a misnomer for folks, is not understanding that, yes, credits can transfer, but it's whether the credit actually counts toward the degree or not. A lot of students will get credits for things that they do in AP, for instance, but it may not count toward their college degree because there's a specific class that you need to take in order to get the degree. I hope that makes sense.
It does. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Melinda. Appreciate exposing us to the partnership, and I think it is intriguing. I really like the way you've bridged industry credential, credit-bearing course towards a degree, employer, workforce board. It's all there in this 14 student activity. So that's great. Wonderful to hear. I'm going to keep us moving. Olcay, and I think I saw New Haven as well on the call, Olcay. So I will turn it over to you to speak about the Southern work with, in this case, with New Haven, but feel free to speak about related work as well.
Right.
So please go ahead.
Thank you, Thank you. Happy New Year. Can you hear me? You good? Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can.
So this is Olcay Yavuz. I am the Southern Early College Faculty Coordinator. Thanks to this grant, our number of healthcare pathway-related courses increased significantly. Our partners, courses, instructors, there's a significant increase. And I will not be able to get all the credits because there are a huge teamwork. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Michelle Wanker. She is the Executive Director of Southern Healthcare Programs. Same thing, we have the Early College Advocate, our department chair, Dr. Larry. Before I show our numbers sample courses, I would like to invite Southern Healthcare Advocates, Dr. Michelle and Dr. Larry. Would you like to briefly talk about your efforts, your practices with healthcare pathways? Thank you.
And if I need to, you're already all set. Okay, great. Thanks. Go ahead.
Thank you, Olcay. It's nice to be here with so many people talking about this topic. Larry and I would be happy to share some of our experiences, and I see that Dominique Argo is also on the call, and in many ways I feel as though New Haven Public Schools has been leading this initiative with us in the College of Health and Human Services. So I'm not sure exactly where the best place to start is maybe, Larry, what do you think?
Larry, unmute. You can unmute Larry. Okay, Larry cannot unmute. Yeah, and we were We have also Dominic for our New Haven partner. So I like the idea. We can start with our partner high school, New Haven. Then Michelle, Larry, please feel free to elaborate. So Dominic, are you allowed to mute and speak up your wonderful work that you advocate for the healthcare? Dominic.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I am Dominique Argo. I am one of the independent study and college before college coordinators for New Haven Public Schools. I currently service individually Hill House and New Haven Academy, and we do some work with Riverside as well, but we're working on district-wide pathway development with the amazing Miss Dina Natalino, who couldn't be here right now. Just to give some context, 3 years ago, in the middle of the pandemic, Hill House, New Haven Public Schools reached out to then Gateway, now CT State, in order to develop a health career academy pathway, knowing that we're going to have a huge need in healthcare workers in the coming years, as you all know. And the program called HCAP was developed under now retired Dr. Sheila Salerno. And HCAP started at Gateway with what are our current juniors right now. And then because of the consolidation and different factors, CT State wasn't able to fulfill certain things that they were hoping to, unfortunately. So we're now transitioning the program to Southern. And Southern has been instrumental in not only keeping the plane flying, but also building different parts while we're going. So they were able to help us in addition to our students getting college credits. So right now our juniors have about a semester's worth of college credits, thanks to CT State and Gateway jumping in to help. We're also able to work with the CNA program this summer, and we had 18 students finish that. And we're also going to have another 40 students in the spring do that, in addition to our sophomores and juniors who are doing college credit work. So for example, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the courses. Introduction to Health Careers is what we started with, moving on to medical terminology, psychology, and what Southern and New Haven Public Schools are doing now, in particular with Hill House, and we're going to expand it, is work on getting students the prerequisites to go into varying healthcare degrees. So we're not going to be limiting them as we were previously with CT State, that we're going to be limiting to radiography, surgical technology, et cetera. So students will have the prereqs. Most will leave with either a CNA certification or an EMT. We're also partnering with Charter Oak, and they'll be going on taking these credits and becoming our future amazing health career professionals. We also have programs that we work with Yale for guest speakers to bring in, like respiratory therapists. We brought in a lab leader through Yale a couple weeks ago to speak about different health career fields that students might not be aware of. We're excited to continue the partnership. It's going well. Right now we have 10 juniors who are continuing, 12 sophomores, and then as we revamp the program, we'll be increasing those numbers across the district, as we started with the pilot at one of the schools. Thank you so much, and I appreciate the chance to share the work.
And before Larry and Michelle share their perspective, can I share some early college healthcare pathway courses? Am I allowed to share my screen, Ajit? Can I share my screen?
Sure, of course.
Okay. All right, let's see if it works. Okay, let's see. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Especially with the West Haven High School, with the grant, they request introduction to public health and illness and disease. So these are two health care related courses. So we have the technical high school. They are requesting for intro to CNA, intro to nutrition, intro to wellness, and New Haven medical pathways, and another one for the wellness. And we have requests for the med terminology skills for becoming certified nurse. So As you see, these are I just filtered. This is not a full comprehensive list, but just for this meeting, I just filtered some healthcare pathway related courses. And these are not called as a pathway. Still, this is work in progress. So we hope this healthcare pathway related courses eventually they will be healthcare pathways. But as Southern, we are working on the pathway programs to give opportunity for our partners. So I will. Again, this is just quick sample. We hope this is our vision that we will have different academic pathways. So like this is the pre-medicine pathway we are working. Again, this is not public yet. These are just work in progress. But our goal, since students are allowed to take 10 courses through the Southern Early College program, we are trying to offer 10 meaningful courses so they can use their academic and career plan. So this is another one we develop accelerated high school nursing pathway. And these are the sample courses. As you see, there are some nursing, math, science, psych courses. And but once again, I'm the early college coordinator. We work with the doctor through the Milburn. We set the partnership with the school districts. Then it goes to our departments, our healthcare advocates. So that's why we are the just bridge builder as an early college. And now I would like to pass to Michelle and Larry to look at their perspective, because they do all the work with the schools, train the teachers, help them, support them. Yes, Michelle.
So I would have to say, actually, I think Dominique and Dina did all of the work, and Larry and I really just supported their ideas and their efforts. And I think that our experience has been extremely positive. We were really happy to receive the call to, sit at a table and do some planning. And it's been really inspiring for us to be in this position to consider how our curriculum could be utilized by students while they're still in high school. And we're excited at the idea of expanding that to other high schools in Connecticut. And so we look forward to questions. Larry, it looks like you're unmuted, so feel free to add something to that.
I did figure it out finally. Yeah. No, thank you very much. And just to reiterate that, we are really following Dominique and Dina's lead with this. But we have talked about some of our courses that we feel could be valuable additions here. So very briefly, we have a major called Healthcare Studies, which I'm the director of, and it's really designed as sort of a broad introduction to different facets of healthcare that allows students to kind of go in different directions. So we have courses like in Intro to Aging Studies and Introduction to Clinical Trials, Patient-Centered Healthcare, and a few others that we anticipate we could possibly introduce as options as part of the sequence. I think that's all I can really add to everything that's been said.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Olcay and Dominique and team for a presentation here on your efforts. And you showed those courses and those pathways. Those are always good to sort of see them packaged like that. When you're ready with it, please do share. We can share it with the overall community.
This is again win-win. So this is very helpful for us because we are offering all 10 courses. Students, high school, they were struggling like how we can present a more meaningful way. So I think this type of pathway discussion and helping the early college programs and high schools to create a meaningful cluster. So no, it's a win-win from the higher ed perspective, early college perspective, and also same with the high school perspective. And these are all work in progress, and we will share the course list clusters for the early college. I will email to you so you can share with the related partners.
Happy to. And if there are any questions, please do post them in the chat or raise your hand and we can unmute, and so you can ask your question. It's 3 o'clock, so in the interest of time, I see Chris, you're ready. So I'll turn it over to you and Dave at East Lyme to discuss your EMT pathway program.
Thanks, Ajit. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to do a quick just overview of what we have in terms of health sciences and nursing pathways with UConn ECE program. And I really want to spend the majority of the time so you can talk to David and Mary and the amazing work that they're doing at our partner school in East Lyme. We do offer 97 different courses through the UConn ECE program. So when you look at say UConn School of Nursing BS program, through our course offerings, partner schools are able to build out pathways where students could essentially get 30+ different credits towards their degree in nursing if they were to choose a particular degree in nursing. So it is something to kind of keep in mind. You know, Karen mentioned this about how the credits transfer into programs similar to like OCHE and what Southern Connecticut State University is doing and building out their pathways. So some of it too is thinking broad, you know, based about what are the different academic courses we're offering and how do those tie into health career and health science pathways. As a program, we are working to do a better job of helping partner schools sort of navigate that idea of a career cluster. Whether it's through the UConn ECE program and looking at courses with us, or really what we think is most powerful is looking at the collective capacity of working with multiple programs. So whether it's UConn ECE, Goodwin, Bridgeport, CT State, Southern Connecticut system, really looking to figure out as a partner school how you can package those courses together to give students the best possible options available to them. So we have some information that's available and coming out, just thinking about different partnerships across multiple IHEs and what that would look like for a school to provide those pathways. Again, thinking big picture and where each of us fit in. At this point, I want to give as much time as possible to David and Mary, who is one of our amazing ECE instructors at East Lyme. East Lyme is a strong partner school with the program. This year, they have 15 different unique UConn course offerings that are available, but they are one of our partner schools that offers all 3 of our allied health course offerings, Introduction to Health Professions, Medical Terminology, and our EMT training course. And that's one of the courses that they used grant funding to build out and support this year. So at this time, I'm happy to turn it over to David and Mary to talk about all the great work they're doing.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. My name is David Fasulo, Assistant Principal at East Lyme High School. I also are kind of our Pathways Coordinator go-to person. I'm here with our science teacher, Mary Toronto. She's a UConn adjunct and EMS instructor as well, emergency EMT instructor. We have a short presentation with some of the information we'll try to share as best as we can. It's also in the chat and one of the links. I'm going to go for a share and see what happens. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Mary.
I think you're going to have to drag it out.
Okay, hold on. We'll try this.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or you can go
Yes, looks good. We could see the ECE slide.
There you
ECE
go.
medical terminology. Yep.
All right.
Okay, I'll kind of kick it off to Mary to go through the slide presentation.
All right. Well, a caveat is I was supposed to have pictures on this first slide showing you a couple of my students that are in the program. Currently, we have been working with UConn ECE, and I started teaching in the Allied Health School from UConn in 2017 when I started with medical terminology. That year, I was approached to be able to try to pilot teaching MedTerm along with their Intro to Allied Health Professions course. And I did that the following year. And those 2 years, those 2 courses I teach succinctly together. And it's a full year course as opposed to being a 1 semester. So it allows me a lot more time and a lot more flexibility with the students. Every year that I've been running it, I've had full sections of students. So I have anywhere from 20 to 24 students that take it. Most are juniors and seniors. It's split pretty much down the middle. And then last year, when I was actually prior to COVID, I had gotten my EMT license and certification to try to move forward in teaching an EMT pathway here. When COVID hit, I'd never be able to be back in the classroom. So that kind of put on hold for a little bit. In order to be able to teach EMT, there's a couple of different things on the end of the requirements for the state of Connecticut to be able to teach in a public school. And then it's also on the end of the EMT component of it. So I had to become an EMSI or instructor. And I listed on this slide a couple of the requirements that it required me to do. But what's unique about it is I also had to get one additional certification because I'm a public school teacher wearing a different hat for this, if you will. And so this year I actually started doing the EMT, and the grant money that we used this year started to outfit my classroom with all of the supplies for the practical skills and all of the materials that we need to be able to successfully get these kids in June to be able to take the two-part NREMT, or National Registry for Emergency Medical Technicians. Currently I have 7 students in my class. I have, on this slide, I'm not going to bore you with all of it, but in my classroom right now, I have a couple of these slides are just some background on what it takes, but this is my current class. I have 4 males, 3 females. All are seniors except for one, and kind of similar to the earlier program where it's a little bit of a broad background. I have students that are mostly going into college. I have one that's going to step into the fire science. And so some of the students come in with volunteering hours already affiliated with a firehouse or fire department close to here. Others, all of the students, we work closely. We're very blessed that we can walk across and work on Flanders Fire Department's campus to be able to help and have the guys that I work with on the rig, on the ambulance, help with me instructing the students as well. So the slide that you see in front of you is when we went over for CPR and backboard training, and transport and moving, lifting and moving. What's unique about this is this program, that the institution of these 3 ECE courses in conjunction with UConn allowed us and our school to offer our students what we refer to as career concentrations. And we actually this year, this is a brand new career concentration. And you can see on the screen, it requires the students to take a combination of 4 credits over their high school career. 2 to 2.5 of those credits require them to be in medical terminology, EMT or honors anatomy. So that's their end of the healthcare spectrum. But it also requires them, and all students are required to take, if they want this career concentration, human development, which is also offered as an ECE program, credited program through UConn. And then, of course, I listed a bunch of the different electives because each student, we want them to be well-rounded when they walk out of here. So there's some of the credits that they can take for that career concentration. What's unique is this year I had a combination of students from my medical terminology over the last 2 years. I think we have 12 to 15 students that actually were able to fit the bill and will graduate this year with their allied health career concentration, which is kind of cool, being the first year. That's pretty much our program in a nutshell. I don't know how to stop share now. I'm gonna let you take over, Dave, because I don't know your computer. Hang on. All right, there we go.
Okay, I think we're back. I guess the only thing to add to that at this point is we're collaborating with neighborhood schools, surrounding districts. So Old Lyme School in Waterford, we're going to offer the EMT certification class to students at those schools. So we set up our schedule for next year, so it's all first block, so those students can also participate. And for small towns, it's kind of a big deal because Old Lyme and some of the smaller towns in this region are staffed with volunteer EMTs and volunteer firefighters, and there's a shortage at this point. So the fire services are really excited to collaborate with us. So there are fees built into this program. The kids have a uniform, they have blood pressure cuffs, they have stethoscopes, but it looks like the fire services from the representative towns will be paying for these fees. And without the support from the dual credit grant, and we had some more support with the workforce boards, we would never be able to get this off the ground. If you're thinking of starting this program, it's a minimum probably $50,000 investment just to get it off the ground with the hard goods and such, books and that type of thing. But we're very fortunate we have someone as talented as Mary to teach this class, and open to questions.
Thanks, David and Mary. Questions for East Lyme? Sorry, did you want to say something, Dave?
No, it sounds like we're pretty good.
How many
How many
students are served?
So this was our initial pilot, and we kind of got it a little late off the ground. It kind of depending on the dual credit support and some other support, if we could launch this thing and moving some classes around. So currently, the start off the program at 7 students, but remember, it's also a heavy commitment. So it's all year, every block for the first block. So day 1 we do an A/B schedule. A1, it's an EMT class. B1, it's the med-term class. And then the second semester, it's 2 full blocks, A and B blocks of EMT. So it really is it's a big commitment for the students to sign up for this. And that took a little logistical work as well. So I think we've got it served. I think it's next year's better with just having that first block every day. And again, we're looking for some more partnerships with our surrounding schools.
So right now, if I were to look at my medical terminology students, which are where a lot of my feeder students are coming from, I know within our own school here, I have 10 kids that want to hit it next year for EMT. And that's one of the prerequisites is either EMT or medical terminology or anatomy. So if we also get those students from Waterford and Lyme, Old Lyme, we will have a pretty well outfitted, hopefully up to 16 students.
And I think that may be around our sweet spot. This is a very intense class. I have an EMT certification. If you've gone through the program, the exams in my mind they're probably harder than the nursing exams. A student will do 4 years and take the NCLEX, the nursing exam, but the EMT exam is very rigorous, the national EMT exam. So, and there's a lot of information to cover in a relatively short amount of time. So there's a lot. This class moves pretty quick. There's a lot of hands-on activities. These kids are really busy.
And just to jump into, East Lyme's a great example of a partner school that's adopted all 3 allied health courses. We have partner schools that pick and choose which allied health courses they offer. So we have some partner schools that only run the EMT course, for instance, where we have other partner schools that run the other 2 allied health courses independently. So it sort of depends on what resources are available within the district. Instructor, to Mary's point, like whether or not they have an instructor that's qualified to offer the EMT course, or if they're partnering with a local fire department or ambulance services to help provide the more technical assistance piece of the course.
So the students that take the courses through me register through UConn to get the dual credit for them. But it also, when they do the NREMT test, it requires them on the state and the national level to have over 180 classroom instructional hours, which is what makes the scheduling a little tricky. And it would be the same. All 3 of my courses relate identically to what would be taught on the UConn campus. So the kids, it's a UConn approved syllabi, the whole 9 yards. They're getting a UConn class just physically here on our campus with me.
Questions for East Lyme or for New Haven and Southern and Thompson and CT State? Who went first? Any questions for any of them? I think everybody's unmuted now, so you can just raise your hand and just ask your question as well. And as some folks are perhaps thinking about a question, I guess I will pose a question for all three of the partnerships. And that is, what has been perhaps most challenging with getting this type of program off the ground? Like, which aspect of the work? I mean, there's so many aspects. There's the curriculum, there's the stuff, materials, there's the partnership with the higher ed, there's, from the higher ed perspective, there's partnership with the high school, changing high school course schedule, program of studies, whatever. Like, among all of that, what's been the most challenging, and how did you work through that?
Thanks,
and anybody
Ajit.
can jump.
Yeah, I can start. Again, I'm the faculty coordinator. I deal with the faculty issues. Again, our main challenge, finding the high quality, qualified instructors to teach these courses. There's a lot of interest, and but our challenge, one of the main challenge is finding the high qualified instructors. So in this case, we are trying to resolve this issue, working with the departments, using the department full-time, part-time faculty, and some high schools, they are training their own instructors. But now with this interest, I think in the next couple of years, we will focus on the capacity building and get this required courses certification. So we will have enough faculty instructors to teach these wonderful courses.
Go ahead, Melinda.
I think for us in a small comprehensive high school, one of our biggest barriers is that obviously the Connecticut State College in Karen, they have fees they have to cover for the instructor. And so we have a very small budget, and trying to find the finances to make sure that we have the instructors that can come in and teach those classes, especially the CNA portion of the full year class, was problematic. And thank goodness that we leaned on the workforce board and they kind of came to our rescue. I know it's only 14 students, but times 2,000 is a $28,000 cost associated with that. We have great interest for next year. I guess I'm fretting for next year because it seems like that class might be even larger. So always finding a funding stream is the biggest challenge, at least in Thompson. Not the organization, not the partnerships. Those all came easy. At the end of the day, it comes down to money.
Dave, I know you put your question in the chat as well, but please unmute and you can orally state your question as well.
All right. Thank you, Ajit. Yeah, I was just wondering, this might be for Chris Dodd, because it's an ECE class, but just wondering about that medical terminology, if the teacher certification was science or if they needed some kind of, health or nursing or.
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually put the link earlier in the chat. I can reshare it. So if you go to the UConn ECE Allied Health courses, when you scroll down in the descriptions of the instructor requirements, honestly, our Allied Health department is pretty broad in its approach. So if you have somebody with more of a science background, they take that into consideration if they've been teaching biology or chemistry. If you have somebody that has more of a traditional health sciences background, they look at that as well. So it is one of those departments that's multifaceted in what they're looking for qualification.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And Mary can speak to our faculty coordinator, Dr. Bruce Blanchard, is really accessible. He is responsive to emails. He's really thoughtful in looking at kind of holistically who the instructor applicant is and what their backgrounds are.
I submitted, and I'm going back, I'm trying to think in my memory. You have to submit your transcripts so that they know what you took in your undergraduate and graduate levels. And then it also looks to make sure that it's well-rounded. I had also had a background in teaching anatomy and physiology. I carry biology, general science, and a 103 certification for the state of Connecticut. So they look at all of those types of things.
Great. Thank you. So that's very helpful. Thank you.
Other questions for our speakers? And if you don't have a question, but you have something different that you're doing in the healthcare space, please feel free to share that as well, because this is part of learning from each other. So if you have a partnership or a program that you're doing, I'm sure others would love to hear about that as well. So please just raise your hand and you can unmute and share. Is that a sufficient teacher wait time, perhaps? Well, I'll ask actually the expert. Mary, is that a good enough wait time? Okay. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. So I think with that, I think we'll bring this community of practice to a close. I want to thank all our presenters. I want to thank Karen, Melinda, Olcay, Dominique, and others from Southern, and Chris and Dave and Mary. Thank you so much for presenting. Lots of good information. Again, the importance of partnerships between our higher education and our high schools and employers and workforce boards. And all that is super helpful and very inspiring to hear, and encourages us to continue this work. So keep up the great work, and we'll see you at the next community of practice. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ajit.